Hey everybody, it's Dave here from Dragonhill Games, and welcome to my top 10 investment picks video for Kaldheim. If you know me and you know my channel, I take a long view on Magic the Gathering investment, and this video is absolutely no different. Every card I'm going to discuss today, I'm buying and holding for at least a 1-year period, possibly more. Alright, let's dive right into our top 10 list, and I'm going to start right here with Weathered Runestone. Of all the cards on my list today, I would consider Weathered Runestone to be the most speculative, in the sense that I don't know how much this card is going to get reprinted. It's in the uncommon slot, so there's going to be a lot of copies of this out there, and it's not a snow permanent, so it really could get reprinted in almost any set that Wizards chooses to have it in down the road. That said, Weathered Runestone, in my opinion, is simply a better Grafdigger's Cage. It casts a much wider net. Now, of course, the CMC is 1 higher in that it's 2 and Grafdigger's Cage is only 1. But like I said, it casts a much wider net. Non-land permanent cards in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield, whereas Grafdigger's Cage specifically targets creatures. Now, both of them also have the effect that players can't cast spells from graveyards or libraries. Let's be realistic here. This card is going to end up in a lot of commander decks. It simply shuts down a lot of strategies. And there's the distinct possibility that this could also end up in other constructed formats in sideboards as a replacement for Grafdigger's Cage. I particularly like picking up this card in the range that it's currently at around 25 to 50 cents. In the number 9 spot, I've chose a rare in Search for Greatness. So for 2 mana, we're getting an enchantment, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you cast a permanent spell from your hand with CMC equal to 1 plus the highest CMC amongst other permanents you control, without paying its mana cost. And if you don't, scry 1. So even if this card only gets 1 extra card out of your hand, it has more than paid for itself. And even if it does nothing else for the rest of the game, you still scry 1 at the beginning of each upkeep. There's no reason why this doesn't slot nicely into a lot of mono green commander decks. And I'm fine with paying $3 to $4 for this card if I was going to be adding it to my personal collection. For investment purposes, I'm looking at picking up this card for around the $2 to $3 mark in a couple of weeks when the prices start to deflate on Kaldheim. In the number 8 spot, we have Poor Battle Mammoth. I really like this card for future investment at around the $2 mark. Unfortunately, Battle Mammoth is getting overshadowed a little bit by Elder Gargaroth. There's definitely the argument that Elder Gargaroth is just simply better. They both have the same CMC. Elder Gargaroth is a 6/6 as opposed to a 6/5 in Battle Mammoth. They both have Trample, but Elder Gargaroth also has Vigilance and Reach. Now, Battle Mammoth provides inherent protection for itself and essentially the rest of your board. It's something that green is looking for. Mono green really struggles with defending itself against spot removal, and Battle Mammoth provides that opportunity to reload your hand anytime you get targeted. And don't discount the fact that Battle Mammoth has Foretell. It gives you the opportunity to foretell this card on an otherwise dead turn 2 and get him out there 1 turn earlier. Coming in at number 7, I've chosen an uncommon in Replicating Ring. Here we have a card that is similar in many respects to a very popular mana rock for Commander, and that would be Darksteel Ingot. The CMC is exactly the same, and it provides the same effect in that we can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Now the trade-off here is that Darksteel Ingot is indestructible, but Replicating Ring has, at the beginning of your upkeep, put a night counter on Replicating Ring, and then if it has 8 or more night counters on it, remove them all and create 8 colorless snow artifact tokens named Replicating Ring. There's no reason why this couldn't be a supplementary mana rock in replacement or alongside Darksteel Ingot in many commander decks. And in fact, in the right kinds of decks, like Atraxa for example, it's probably just better. And for investment purposes, I like this card where it's sitting right now at around the 50-cent mark. I consider Terragrid God of Fright to be one of the top 3 cards coming out of the Kaldheim set. In fact, I would have put it into the number 1 or number 2 spot on this list, except for the fact that the $10 price tag is kicking it down into the number 6 position for me. Not to say this card isn't worth $10 or more, I just think that this price tag is a little bit inflated right now considering that this is a rare out of a brand new set. Terragrid God of Fright has so much going for it. For just 2 black mana and 3, we're getting a legendary 4/5 with Menace, and whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent or discards a permanent card, you may put that card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Not only could Terragrid be a commander, and in fact there is probably going to be a lot of Terragrid commander decks built, it just really fits well into many black commander strategies. We're going to be seeing a lot of this card going down the road, and my target for this card is around the $5 mark. My number 5 choice is also a rare in Reflections of Litjar. Now this card is a little bit restrictive in the sense that when it enters the battlefield we have to choose a creature type. But whenever we cast a spell of the chosen type, we copy that spell. So it really only works well in tribal or changeling themed decks. However, Wizards continues to go down the tribal road, and a card like this becomes more and more desirable as time goes on. I don't think the value of this card has been immediately realized, and I would be looking to pick it up when it falls below $1. I cannot believe that our number 4 pick is not getting the credit that this card actually deserves. Rise of the Dreadmart is a fantastic card for virtually any black deck in Commander. For just 3 mana, we're getting an instant that allows us to create X 2/2 Black Zombie Berserker creature tokens, where X is the number of non-token creatures that died this turn. A fantastic way for any deck running black to make a huge comeback after a board wipe, whether you've made the choice to clear the board or an opponent made that choice for you. And the even more disgusting thing is that it only costs 1 black mana if you foretold it on a previous turn. There's a lot of black commander decks that could easily take advantage of this card, and especially a zombie themed deck. At $1 or less, I'm buying as many copies of Rise of the Dreadmart as I can get my hands on. In the number 3 spot, I've chosen Alrund's Epiphany. I cannot believe this card is under $3 for a brand new Take an Extra Turn spell from Kaldheim. Yes, it's 7 mana, however, that's not that big of a deal in Commander. It also has create 2 1/1 Bluebird creature tokens stapled onto it. And you can even foretell it for 6 mana. You can't find extra turn spells for $3, and there's no reason why Alrund's Epiphany should be any different. I have been playing against Coma Cosmos Serpent, and let me tell you, this thing is an absolute beast in Commander. Yes, it's 7 mana, but it's worth it all day long. It can't be countered. It's a 6/6, and the important part here is at the beginning of each upkeep, create a 3/3 blue serpent creature token named Coma's Coil. You have to deal with this thing immediately, or it very quickly gets out of control. And of course, you can sacrifice another serpent to tap a permanent. Its activated abilities cannot be activated. But more importantly, you can also have Coma gain indestructible until end of turn. Like I was saying, this guy is extremely difficult to deal with. And once a turn has passed and its controller starts creating free 3/3s every turn, it becomes next to impossible. I would look to be picking Coma up in the $5 to $7 range. And our big winner, surprise, surprise, is Vornclex Monstrous Raider. There is no question about it. This is simply the best card in this set. For 6 mana, we're getting a 6/6 that has an immediate impact on the battlefield in that it has trample and haste. Of course, it also has, if you would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead. That alone would be enough. But hold on, it also has, if an opponent would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, they put half that many of each of those kind of counters on that permanent or player instead, rounded down. So this of course means that all of their planeswalkers enter with half of the amount of loyalty counters. If they try to +1 them, yes, they still get the effect, but they don't actually increase their loyalty. Combine this with the fact that it negates any counters type strategies that your opponents are running, and you have a pseudo doubling season type effect in regards to counters for your deck. Vornclex Monstrous Raider is undeniably one of the best green cards we've seen in a long time. This slots into virtually every green stompy deck and most decks that are running any type of counters strategy. I believe that going down the road, there is no reason that this isn't a $50 or $60 card, and in fact, I would be picking it up at today's prices if you can manage to find one. As a little bit of a bonus tip for you guys, I wanted to talk about the snow-covered basics and the snow-covered tap duels that are included in the Kaldheim set. I do a weekly finance video on this channel. It comes out every week on Sunday at midnight Eastern time. So if finance is your thing, make sure you check that out. And in my finance videos, I've mentioned a couple of times how I think that these are a really great pickup, especially at these low prices. You got to think about a couple of things here. First of all, most of the snow basics from other sets go for around $1.50 to $2 to $3, depending on which one they are. So there's no reason to expect that the Kaldheim lands will be any different in the future. Also, the other thing to consider is that these snow duels are a brand new idea and a brand new offering from Kaldheim. Yes, they come into play tapped, but for a lot of things like commander decks, that doesn't really matter all of that much. And they are also another snow permanent if you're planning on running a snow theme. In particular, I would be looking at the foil copies of lands like this, are around $1.50 to $2, I think are a fantastic pickup. Alright, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and found the information useful. If you are a subscriber to my channel, as always, I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate your continued support. And if not, now's a great time to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, go ahead and smash that like button. It really helps me out, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.